Join us now to discuss much more. Maria Reitan, founder and head coach over at Jump Team. Maria, great to have you. Why do you think we are seeing so many people change careers right now? What is going on?
They've had 12 months to think about it, JD. They've sat at home, worked remotely, spent a ton of time, more time than ever thinking. How often do we get a chance to stop down and think about our lives? Not very many times. We're too busy running around trying to just get the job done. But over the 12 months that we've just been through, a lot of workers have had a lot of time to think, and they've realized they're not happy. They're stressed out, they're burned out, and they're ready for a change.
I'm curious to what degree you've also seen this play itself out, not just with younger generations looking for a change, but even older generations of Americans perhaps retiring earlier. I've seen guidance from groups like AARP that have said, there's a lot of people out there, Maria, who have said, oh, maybe I'll work for another year or two, and they realize this kind of life is way too short mentality. Has that been playing a role here as well?
Oh, it's been huge. We've seen a huge wave of retirees. A lot of people who are determining they're ready to check out. They may have been close and they're going to go ahead and cash in and get out of the job market. This is happening in a big wave right now. It's also leading to the dearth of employees. So a lot of companies are finding themselves having to recruit even more people because those older generations are cashing in and checking out and deciding to retire. They want to start now with their lives. They've put their lives on hold for the last 12 months and they're done with it. They're ready to get on with retirement.
How should employers now look to adjust to a closer, we're getting closer to a post-pandemic future, not quite there yet. How should employers adjust to allow for a bit more flexibility, to take into better account the fact that the interests of their workers have changed, especially as they try and prioritize a better quality of life?
Well, they're going to have to adjust, JD, or they're going to find themselves without great talent among their employee roster. Number one, flexibility. Workers out there are demanding it. They want remote work. They want hybrid work. They don't want to go into the office. This is going to require companies to have to figure out how to virtually onboard, support, and manage and train their employees. This is something they have not had to do in any great numbers. So it's going to require organizational change. It's also going to require managers figure out how to manage remotely, something that they've not necessarily been trained to do. So there's going to be an infusion of focus and training among managers themselves and organizations to try to figure out how to deal with this new work environment.
Talk to me about the way that Jump Team is specifically helping people land new careers. I know this is something that is near and dear to you personally. So what are some of your own personal learned lessons you try and bring to your work? And what are a lot of the things that people are telling you, especially as it pertains to burnout or an interest in something different?
I'm hearing from a lot of people that they want to switch careers. They've spent a ton of time in a career, say 10, 15, 20 years, and they want something new, something that gives them work-life balance, a sense of passion and pleasure. And so what I do is spend a ton of time with people figuring out what that is. Oftentimes they want something new, but they don't know what it is. So we start at the very basics and figure out what fuels them, what gets them excited, where their skills are the strongest, and what perhaps they never want to do again. And then we start to look at that skill set and match it with opportunity in the marketplace. And we get them armed with the right messages, the right tools, the resume, the cover letter, to go out and land that job that's going to give them, the fulfilling work-life balance that they require.
I'm curious as we talk about this national labor shortage that specifically here, Maria, is hitting particularly, let's say, like hospitality sectors. A lot of restaurants are saying, well, we want to open, and we're seeing these signs go viral on social media. Someone closes down a McDonald's a few hours early because they don't have workers that they say want to come in. We're hearing these stories anecdotally trickle through. Where do you see the solution being for a labor shortage? If you're a massive restaurant, if you're on the border and you've got all these restaurants scattered throughout the United States and you can't get people back to work, what's the problem here, Maria? Do you see that this is this, as a lot of politicians like to say, a bloated unemployment benefits encouraging people to stay home? Is it part that? Is it something deeper? How do you read this?
There's a little bit of that in there, JD. The checks that came in the mail, we all like to say, added to that a little bit, but that's really not what we're seeing here. What we're seeing is people not willing to go back into what they consider to be risky industries like hospitality, retail, the restaurant business, for example. A lot of them have spent the last 12 months trying to train and retrain for something else. And they want something better, something that's more consistent, such as healthcare and computers and the financial industry, even electricians and plumbing is even more stable than, say, those other hospitality, retail, and restaurant industries. So you're seeing a lot of people who've had 12 months to retrain and try to find something else. So that's what we're facing here. And what's going to happen is those industries have to reinvent themselves. They're going to have to figure out how perhaps they don't open their doors, but instead they continue to send food out their doors. And ghost kitchens are something that we may see being more permanent now post-COVID than even during COVID.
We're certainly in a new world, new shifts in terms of consumer sentiment and behavior and people in and out of the workforce, and all of us who have sat there at one point or another and said, what am I doing? Is there a bigger purpose? Is there something else I should be doing to spend my time on? Maria Reitan, thanks for helping us better understand it here on the show tonight. Maria is founder and head coach over at Jump Team. Great to have you, Maria.